A lot of artists who are whose content is narrative and are about events in the present, because information and research is available, and through the internet, it's very easy to find. I think one of the things that I'd like to be aware of, and to make sure that my work doesn't misrepresent what's happening. And so I do a lot of research. Newspaper, articles written by academics, whatever I could find, photographs of, when I look on the internet, I find these touching photographs of families who are participating in protest marches in Mexico City and other cities in Mexico, and the signs they hold up, and the poignant pleas for their daughter, for their niece who has been lost, and they have found nothing. They only know that she's missing, but they have no closure. I try to, even though those things are heartbreaking, I try to think about them when I'm working, to include that kind of emotional response. I think almost any woman who's a mother, or any person who's a parent, can certainly identify with the anguish these parents must feel at the loss of a child that who was young, who had her whole future, before her, and now she'll never have that. So I want to make sure I represent that honestly, and a byproduct of that, especially with the photographs, I'm able to get a sense of what is okay to re-portray in a certain way than not. I've never believed in graphic, super graphic, literal reproduction of something like that. I like to go at it in a more symbolic, philosophical sort of way. I think that's more respectful, and I think it allows the onlooker an opportunity to examine the work more closely, number one, and begin to see what I am proposing as a problem or as a tragedy. And I think when they look at it in a symbolic way, it's like going to church. It's like going into a Catholic church and seeing the Stations of the Cross. And suddenly, it's a cathartic thing. You're suddenly at Calvary, and you feel this figure, dragging this cross up a hill. I think that's more powerful than to do something that's absolutely literal. And I think that could be off-putting. And so I try to appeal to the intelligence of the audience, which I think a lot of people artists underestimate how smart their audience is. I don't need to, make it, so obvious that I'm insulting their intelligence. I want them to work at it, and I want them to feel something real and something they can empathize with. And that's what I shoot for. I hope I hit the mark every once in a while, but that's what I'm going after. Because that was the first time I discovered that those things had been happening. But I will not stop, and I say this on my website, until there have been prosecutions and convictions and jail time, for whoever is doing this. This series is going to go on, unfortunately.